It is time to take a look at what will be going on at Universal Orlando in 2022 and beyond with Mr. Seth Kubersky. This is episode 491 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to another show. I am your host Lee for this week. Tracy is still not with us, but I am here with Chris.
Hey.
And Michelle.
Howdy.
And Mr. Little Things himself, Seth. Hey Seth, Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to all of you. It is great to get to talk to you once again. And hopefully 2022 will be a darn sight better than 2021 was.
Well, we're coming out.
And 2020.
We are. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. Tracy and I will be out there twice this year, and I am pretty confident it's going to happen this year.
Well, we'll be excited to welcome you back.
I cannot wait. It is killing me. I'm actually feeling excited now because I feel like things are moving in a direction where it's more than likely going to happen. So if it doesn't, I think I might do something I shouldn't.
Well, I will tell you, if it doesn't happen, it won't be because the Florida state government doesn't allow it to happen, because our governor is intent on any and every kind of business or operations being open, and so I'm sure he will welcome you with open arms and not a mask.
I mean, it's funny. I was listening to your little things from last week, and a lot of most of the things at Universal are back open now that were closed during COVID. So you look like the kids' play areas, Camp Jurassic and Curious George, and a lot of those things are back open now. And I think they're the sort of high contact points that with them starting open, you're starting to see. And we know Universal have been tentative in opening things back up and quite sensible, I think, overall. So with them opening those things up, they're obviously confident enough that things are getting back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of social distancing, other than the requirement that everyone wear masks indoors and while in ride queues, it's pretty much back to business as normal. Even the passports came back to ET.
Yes.
There's a section of the net climbs that's not open at Camp Jurassic, but I think even that might come back soon, because pretty much everything else, including the things that people put all their hands all over, like those water guns shaped like dinosaur heads, all that's back. So it's pretty much like it was before we ever heard of social distancing, aside from the masks.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish they had kept the social distancing and gotten rid of the masks. Like, I loved not having people all on top of me in line. That was fabulous.
I missed that brief period of time where you could get people to not stand on your heels while in line with you. That was kind of blissful. It did lead to lines like stretching out everywhere. Yeah. It wasn't a long-term solution unless they were going to build much, much bigger queues. But
that's true.
There was as horrible as the pandemic has been for theme park fans, I think people who got to attend in that small window where when the parks first reopened and there genuinely was really, really low attendance, where they had more staff than people. Now,
fabulous.
And all of that is long, long gone. It is now a very much situation where there are a lot more people interested in going to the parks than there are people interested in working in the parks.
Yeah.
We're back to long lines, but it's not because things are social distanced, but it's just because everything is kind of stretched to its limit in terms of capacity with the number of bodies that they can recruit to work.
Do you think it is as well, Seth, with how busy the parks are at the moment, that a lot of those people stayed away when they thought it was unsafe, and now they're feeling safer going back, that more people are going because it's like all the people that have stayed away are going back in big gluts now?
I think there definitely is pent-up demand. There are people who stayed away for whatever reason, who saved up some money by not traveling, or not doing outdoor entertainment. that are spending that money and taking those vacations now. Whether it's that they feel more comfortable because they are vaccinated and boosted, or whether they've just decided they don't care about any of that anymore and they're going to go and live their life. That's hard to tell. Here in Florida, we definitely have some of column A and some of column B. I think no matter what end you fall on, I think a lot of people are just tired of thinking about it and tired of worrying about it. And theme parks have always been like a bubble, an illusion of safety and escape from reality.
Definitely.
And if you are tired of 24/7 of pandemic terror for the last 2 years, then theme parks are a tempting place to get away from them. For a while, Universal was kind of the first out of the gate to reopen. They were the first out of the gate to impose a lot of restrictions, and then when they started backing off, they were the first to get rid of them. Disney kind of has stuck with having masks indoors a lot more consistently than Universal has, which got rid of them for a while. And then, Omicron managed to bring a lot of that kind of thing back, but still there's no 6-foot markers, and those are never going to return, I don't think.
No. And it's got, I mean, like we speak back to last year when we had Robin and Robert Niles on, that Universal certainly did not come out of the pandemic in a bad shape at all.
I think Universal, you can definitely say that they were much more aggressive than their competition in every sense, in terms of when they're going to reopen, in terms of how they're going to support their employees and still pay them. And then, in terms of opening new rides and continuing construction on things, Disney took a very conservative, cautious approach, did not act like they were like the big established, market leader that could afford to take some risks. Instead, they kind of left an opening for Universal. And I think, with the response you've seen to the opening of new attractions at Disney versus Universal in 2022, in 2021. And I don't expect that to change in 2022 or 2023.
So speaking of, are we getting anything new this year?
At Universal Orlando, it's curious. Universal never ever announces anything until it's halfway done, and even then they might deny it. Right now, there are no official announcements of any attractions opening within 2022 yet. There are two major projects that we all know about that are happening inside of Universal Studios Florida. That's what's replacing Fear Factor Live and what is replacing Shrek.
Finally.
Is it possible that one of the two of them could finish by end of 2022? Possible, but extraordinarily unlikely. That's what I think. Even if Minions is not demolishing the building, but just gutting it, and even if it isn't a big sophisticated ride system, it's still, I think, it would be a real challenge. That would be even busting a Transformers record to get it open before the end of the year.
I love how you say Minions. I have a friend of ours listening to this show will be so made up that Minions is what's going to be going in there. Sorry, Andy.
Well, I feel comfortable using the phrase Minions right now only because they have plastered Minions all over the construction fence, and I don't think that is a coincidence.
No, it seems strange because I expected them. Like, you look at what Universal have done over the last few years, and expected them to put Secret Life of Pets in there, and I'm actually kind of disappointed that they're not, because it looks really good.
Secret Life of Pets is a great ride. I really enjoy it in California. I don't know that it necessarily fits into that spot and they could have plans for it somewhere else in the future. There's also Secret Life of Pets, as good as it is, I think has a kind of flawed ride system in that it is very restrictive for people with mobility issues and little children. And I understand why something like High in the Sky Seuss Trolley has to have, restraints that staple you into the seats because you're way high up in the air. I don't understand why something that is basically an omnimover, like Disney has been operating for, half a century, has to be so complicated and as a result have so many issues with the boarding and the unload getting backed up. It should be a really efficient ride, and it just can't operate at the peak that it should because so many people have trouble getting in and out of those little cars. So if they brought it here, I wish they would
change that system.
Talk to the ride vehicle manufacturer about that.
Okay. Now I know something, you mentioned it on last week's Little Things, and it got Chris very, very excited.
Oh no!
And that
I'm sorry. What did I say?
To be fair, all three of us, we were like, I don't want to talk about this too much because I want to wait until next week with Seth. The Red Coconut Club and the Groove closing, and that massively, massively strong rumor of a Universal escape room coming. Yeah.
I would say that rumor is a stronger than 50%. As always, Orlando Park Stop, Alicia Stella has done some good digging into the permits and the patents. We know that Universal has trademarked the idea of a Universal escape room. And the Groove, I'll put money down on the fact that the Groove is never going to be the Groove again. The signage is gone. They've been doing an awful lot of something in there for it to just reopen it as a nightclub. And to be honest, even before the pandemic came around, the nightclub thing is not what it was in, City Walk in the late 90s, early 2000s. The first few years it opened, it was a big deal. It pulled a lot of attendance away from Pleasure Island. It probably helped kill off the Adventurers Club. But in the long run, that's not why people are going to City Walk, especially not now after the pandemic.
For definite.
And, it's... I think the idea of having some sort of entertainment, especially since the Blue Man Group is gone, something that people could do with their family after visiting the theme park or on a day that they don't want to use a full theme park ticket because they're only at the resort for half a day. I'm excited to see what kind of things they could do. My only fear is that with the IPs at their disposal, with the films that they could theme it around, I'm really terrified that no escape room in reality could live up to the escape room you could make up in your head.
Yes, of course. Because you imagine if they did a Harry Potter one, everyone would be like expecting something completely elaborate, and it's like, no.
Yes,
actual magic.
My personal ideal escape room would be a Back to the Future one where you are inside Doc's
that would be cool.
laboratory, and you have to, I don't know, get the guitar amplifier running.
That'd be so cool.
It would actually be cool if they went retro Universal and did it that way. That would be like a Jaws one or a Kong one.
I was just about to say that would be terrifying.
That would be so cool.
You start in a pool.
The things they could do with it would be so cool. And it's like, look how, and it's interesting. We talked about the Void over at Disney Springs, and I'm not quite sure why that didn't last over there, but something like that, people went crazy for it. And I think an escape room at Universal would do exactly the same business.
Yeah, there are still a few virtual reality free roaming experiences in Orlando. I think at least one is still operating at Point Orlando. But yeah, the Void, the pandemic kind of killed the Void off, but they were already having problems with their agreement with Disney. I think even before COVID hit, they were having issues with their license, and I think once they lost the rights to Star Wars and Marvel, those were their two big properties.
Yeah.
I know, like the one in both downtown Disney in California and Disney Springs closed. The one that I went to in Las Vegas is closed. But I think people who worked on The Void have moved on to other VR projects, and Disney hasn't given up on VR. Like they've got recently Oculus, or I should say Meta, is demoing their Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge VR game that you can buy for the Quest. They were demoing that at Disneyland, and you could. So I think there's still a future for those kind of things. But I'm kind of excited that Universal is doing, assuming they are doing a physical escape room as opposed to a virtual reality.
Yeah.
And what's so fabulous about that idea too is that an escape room isn't like, it's not a stagnant experience. It's not something that that it has to stay the same every single time, where if you've experienced it once, you're like, I'm not going to pay to do it again. Escape rooms change out their theming quite often.
Good ones do. Yeah. Good one. Hopefully, the Groove, it was a multi-level club, took up a pretty good footprint. I would hope they would at least be able to fit 2 or 3 different escape rooms within that footprint, and then maybe always be able to change one of them out and rotate around.
Because like you were saying, you look at how quick they are for changing the tribute store out, and it's not just a quick retheme. That doing an escape room should be a doddle for them.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
stuff.
I have full confidence that they could do a great escape room in terms of the theming, in terms of the scenic work and the sound effects, and the technology, but creating good puzzles, creating something with a good difficulty curve, that's tricky. So I hope they bring in some folks who have experience with that. Yeah,
because it's interesting. You look back to, it's not really the same, but kind of, the repository at Halloween Horror Nights 26 or 24, was it?
I was thinking of the same thing. Yeah, they've tried for Halloween an upcharge thing that involved both an escape room style experience and then also a VR. And the VR was kind of early VR, and it was a bit dodgy. The best part of it was the interacting with the actors.
Yes, that's what I heard.
And I think that that Universal's biggest advantage over other escape rooms on iDrive, because there's a lot of them now in Orlando, is if they had really high quality live performers involved in the show. I think for me the best escape rooms are ones where you're not just having a video clip shown at you, or having someone come over a microphone, who's basically a DM, telling you a clue if you do something wrong, but actually have a live human being in character interacting with you.
That'll be cool.
And if Universal could have their kind of standards that they have for theme park characters integrated into an escape room, that'd be worth paying for.
Because you start to think, Chris, a Universal Monsters escape room like Frankenstein's Lab or something like that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
That
Especially with that live actor
yes.
kind of presence in there would it would really make these escape rooms stand out from the other ones, like you said.
Just a disclaimer, I'm just saying what I would do if I was in charge of the world. This is not implying that I'm saying any inside knowledge.
It's okay. Universal listens to us and they do this exactly what we tell them to do.
They usually do.
Usually they listen to me and then do the exact opposite. So
we mentioned Dale the Squirrel being a theme park meet and greet character like 3 days before it was actually a thing. So it's like, thank you, you're welcome.
Yes, someone sewed it together in 3 days.
Tracy's waiting for a check.
Earl has been waiting years to have his big moment. I'm glad it finally came.
Yeah. But again, like looking at this year, things are starting to look normal. Mardi Gras looks like it's back to its full event this year. Rock the Universe seems like it's going to be normal. So I think this year realistically is just looking at the park getting back to its usual self, and fingers crossed we get a proper Halloween Horror Nights 31 this year as well, because last year seemed, from talking to Chris and Michelle, Halloween Horror Nights, but just a little off.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean the energy was a little strange between the plexiglass in the houses and the kind of distancing from all of the performers, and then just the general vibe. Plus the fact that a lot of Halloween Horror Nights 30 was designed for the year before. Had at least 3 of the houses had been seen widely the year before. And it was an odd mishmash. Like it felt like, especially considering it was a big anniversary year, it was nice to have, but it didn't feel like it reached the peaks that it could have.
Yeah.
True.
The interesting thing is this year, some of the stuff that was in 30 had been designed the year before by people who are now no longer employed by Universal. And there's going to have to be kind of some new blood on the design team. So hopefully that is going to lead to some more creative approaches, some new things that we haven't seen before.
Yes, because Michelle, I know you are hoping to, at some point this year, sit down with Patrick actually to talk about the houses that he created for last year, aren't you?
Yes, hopefully very soon if we can get it arranged.
Patrick is a fantastic person to talk to.
Yes, we've had him on.
He's done, between the Scream and Stream and what he did with SeaWorld Orlando, he kind of really gave Universal a run for their money this last year, and no one else has really been able to do that.
Yeah, we tried hard to make it work with Rush of Fear to talk to him, but with schedules and everything, it was just hard to get it.
And he seems to be thoroughly enjoying that new role, and I've spoken to him quite a bit. We had him on just before Christmas to talk about when he worked at Fear Factor, and he seems to be loving it with, like you say, SeaWorld and Scream and Stream, and then or the Horror the Game and stuff. He's really sort of branching out into other stuff, and he seems to be loving it.
Yeah, I know. He really put his heart and soul into Universal, and when everything hit and he got laid off, that was a big blow. But he's absolutely landed on his feet, and he's kind of my poster child for how the pandemic and the economic disruption that's gone along with it is a really horrible thing in the short term, but it might be the shakeup that the theme park industry needs.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of the old guard are retiring and leaving, and that it goes all the way from the very top. Bill Davis and Tom Williams leaving. I don't know if enough fans are really aware of how major it is that the people who basically led Universal from its early years are gone, and now it's a new generation that's got to kind of take over, and it makes huge opportunities. If this would be a great time if you were just coming out of school and wanting to get into the theme park design world or theme park operations, it'd be an amazing time because there's so much opportunity. There's just room on the ladder now, because people who had sat there for 20 years are now gone.
Yeah, a couple of friends of ours, Andy and Catherine, they're part of creative. They were out working on Universal Beijing, and I know they're back over here now. Oh, not over here, over there. Shows how much I'm so desperate to be in Orlando right now.
You identify with us. It's like Stockholm Syndrome.
Working on Epic Universe. So yeah, I know Andy worked on, we had him on the show not that long ago, Andy worked on the Waterworld land, which is the biggest it's the biggest contradiction ever. The Waterworld land at Universal Beijing, and then Catherine worked on a lot of the illumination stuff out there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that fresh blood come in. And I'm so excited for Epic Universe to see what Universal can, looking at what Universal Beijing is, and that park looks stunning with IPs that for the most part we're not really bothered about. to then look at what Epic Universe is going to be with IPs, like top tier IPs. So exciting.
I'm very sad that when we first started talking about it, there was thoughts that Epic Universe might open in late 2022 or early 2023, but that was before the pandemic hit. And so, it's going to be more like 2025 before we actually get to ride these rides. But the more we see, the better it looks.
Yeah, I'd rather they took the time over it, to be fair. Yeah. We've kind of jumped on a little bit. There is a controversial issue I want to pick your brains over, and it's quite a big one, Seth.
All right, I will give you a completely uninformed opinion.
Annual pass holder pins. What the hell?
It's annual pass holders pins were one of those small, cheap perks that initially cost them very little and created a lot of goodwill, and it became this sort of this monster with people on social media and Facebook groups going nuts over it, to the point where the last couple months have sold out very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is Universal saying, they haven't sharply increased their annual. They have increased their annual pass prices.
Yes.
But not as sharply as Disney has, and they haven't restricted them like they have. And they still have perks for annual pass holders, like the pass holder lounge, which used to be temporary, technically, is year round, and little things throughout the year. But I think they've just decided that the offering the pins has gotten to be more trouble than it was worth.
Yeah, it probably has. Like we talked about it last week.
I have a pile of them myself. If anyone really wants them, make me an offer.
Have them. I'll give you a $5 for them. Michelle, how many was there again? 38?
Yeah.
There are 38 total. I probably have 20-something of them.
We did our big fat quiz of the year 2 weeks ago, and one of the questions with Michelle was, name all 38 pins.
No, the question was name as many as you can, and you get 1 point each.
In other words, name them all.
Wow.
I got about 6.
Well, I would lose that one. Though I do have one with the cow from Twister.
Yes. But it's like, it was a cool little perk, and we kind of, again, talked about it last week, that it's like, they don't have to give you them. You buy an annual pass.
Well, and that becomes an issue of entitlement, that every little perk that you give to someone, once or twice, then they start to expect it, and they become demanding if they don't get it.
That's exactly what we mentioned last week, by the way. It's how you give this to somebody, right? To the pass holders, you take it away, you complain. So it kind of, discourages the theme park to say, hey, let's not do it, because then we won't have unhappy people, because we don't have to take it away.
Yeah. I would probably be more concerned with the annual pass food and beverage discounts at the hotels. The fine print that now says it's not valid on special events and holidays.
Yes, which worries me slightly, especially coming into this year, because we're planning on staying on site both of our trips, and one of them will be Halloween and one of them will be the holidays.
Now they haven't specified what special events and holidays means exactly, but I have to imagine this is aimed at the people who go to Endless Summer or Cabana Bay for Halloween Horror Nights and drink at the bars there.
Because we're staying at Dockside in September, so...
Well, don't the bars don't get discounts anyways, right?
No, yes.
Alcohol, yeah.
Yeah, no, not alcohol, but the food and non-alcoholic.
Okay. Did they mention pass holder hotel rates in that fine print, or just the food and beverage?
Those, I believe, are unchanged. I think that was specific to food and beverage. The good news is that there were no discounts at all for a while on food at the Endless Summers, so they did add that back. But I don't think there was any change made to hotel rates.
Yeah, but I like, because we were saying last week that, look, what is the reason you buy an annual pass for? Because it's if you're going a lot, it's cheaper than buying like a day ticket or a 3-5 week ticket. That's what you buy them for. So anything else
is a perk.
Of course it is. But then the more you give people, the more they expect. And when you, like we said, when you take something away, it's the worst thing in the world you can do. It's like you've got a Premier Pass. we're going to give you pins, and we're going to take them away. But you're still getting a free Horror Nights ticket. You're still getting free parking. You're still getting food and merch discounts. What more do you want?
Yeah, if people would stop acting like entitled brats over things, we could actually keep nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly. It's silly. Like, be grateful for what we have, and say thank you for anything extra than that. And that should be the end of it.
It's just so weird, isn't it? People are weird. I don't like people. Sorry, everyone.
Well, this leaves an opportunity for an enterprising annual pass holder to create their own UOAP pins and sell them on Etsy.
I mean, yes, that's very true.
Maybe the podcast could do that. You can have on your website.
Michelle, wasn't it?
Not a bad idea.
I'll have to get on to Maddie. Didn't she get Russia Fear ones done for last year?
She sure did.
Yes.
Yep.
Maddie, if you're listening. But yeah, overall, this year just looks like it's going to be the first full, probably normal year of the parks being open since COVID, which isn't a bad thing, I suppose.
Can we just, I hate that you keep saying that.
Well, because you're expecting to kill it again.
Yeah. Well, Universal has announced those concerts coming back from Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've got some big names, they've got some older folks. Diana Ross, she's not a spring chicken. So the fact that she's got people who are willing to come out and perform in front of big crowds at an event like Mardi Gras, that shows that they have confidence that they're going forwards and not backwards.
Yeah, like you say, because obviously if they were concerned, and if she was concerned about the pandemic, then there's no way she would sign on to go to something like that.
I mean, you would think. A similar situation with Disney at Garden Rocks Theater. They've got a full lineup for the American Gardens Theater at the Food and Wine Festival announced for the spring.
Okay, yeah, it's good. It's at least it's all right. I'll say it's looking like it's going to be a normal year this year. Look, the fact that people from this country can and still are going over to the US, and we've changed our policies now that you don't have to test coming back over. That takes a lot of stress off my shoulders. That we're still we can travel to the US is still a big thing at the moment, and that's what's making me think that this year will be, knock on wood, just a normal theme park year. And I just can't wait to get over and check out everything that we haven't over the last few years.
Absolutely.
Cool. Right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come and waffle about beyond that a little bit.
Have you taken a stroll down Diagon Alley and visited Gringotts Bank? Taken a ride through New York with Jimmy Fallon? Visited the Truffalo Trees in Seuss Landing, or hung out with a real-life Transformer? No? Then what are you waiting for? At Universal Orlando Resort, there truly is an option for everyone. Or if you're leaning a little more towards pixie dust rather than wands and potions, Disney destinations around the globe await your arrival. No matter the adventure, our sponsors have you covered. Be sure to let the experts at Mouse Muggle Travel Company take care of all your travel needs, earning the distinction of being an earmarked agency specializing in Disney destinations, as well as becoming one of the first to be named a U Preferred agency with Universal Parks and Resorts Vacations. Mouse Muggle Travel Company will ensure you receive top-rated customer service. Just visit mouseandmuggle.com to fill out a no-obligation quote request, or send your request to info@mouseandmuggle.com. Their team can take care of you no matter where in the world you want to go. With a flick of their wand and a little bit of pixie dust, the process will be so seamless, some might even say it's simply magical.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here, of course, with Mr. Seth Kubersky talking about, I don't know, we've sort of, there's not that much to talk about this year, and I know we're probably going to get into the realms of rumour, which Seth doesn't like to talk about too much because, he upsets people. But, basically we kind of talked about Epic Universe. That's the big thing on the horizon at the moment, and it's exciting, even if it is going to be 3 years down the line. We kind of said it earlier. I think I would rather them take their time and it be the best it can be than them try and rush it through to be something something less than it should be.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, it's not just a new theme park, but you're also talking about hotels and all of the infrastructure that goes into it. So, it's not something that you want to rush if it's going to last. And they've got to coordinate with the city and state government, if nothing else, on getting these roads that need to be completed to connect up to the new property. So it's all a lot of puzzle pieces, a lot of moving parts that have to come together. But I think when it is done, I'm hopeful. 2025. I'm hopeful that it'll be worth the wait. Some of its elements we're going to be familiar with by the time it opens here. Like I can't wait. I'm going to be definitely seeing it in Hollywood and maybe even in Japan.
Super Nintendo World.
A Super Nintendo World.
It looks stunning.
I don't want to wait. But other things are going to be really original and unique, and especially the Classic Monsters area is something that I am very excited for, but I also want them to take all the time that they need to make it right.
Yeah. You talk about Super Nintendo World, it looks like we've watched Chris from TDR Explorers, we actually had him on the show last year, watched his videos. That area looks amazing. It's weird to see a theme park land that's on multi-levels. It looks so cool, and especially at night. Yeah, that's very excited for that.
It is really the next level past Diagon Alley when it comes to creating an immersive environment, because it's not just looking forward and back, but it's all around you and up and down. And I know there's been criticism that the Mario Kart ride wasn't actually fast, but I think that it's going to be a lot more fun in person with the augmented reality glasses than it looks on YouTube. So I can't wait for all of that. There's, the Wizarding World is still kind of up in the air exactly what's going to end up being built. And there's whole question marks, still about what exactly is going on in the hub. What's the theming for this dueling roller coaster? What's going on with these mystery buildings that might be flat rides inside? It's fun because there's still so many unanswered questions about what exactly is happening. Even stuff that I'm not personally particularly interested in, like How to Train Your Dragon.
Really?
I think I don't have any. I've seen the film. I thought they were perfectly serviceable, but I didn't have any huge emotional bond to them.
Perfectly serviceable.
Serviceable, like something that you could sit your kid in front of.
No emotional bond.
Shut them up.
How?
I love those movies.
It was okay. But it wasn't something that I felt the need to watch over and over again. But which is fine.
Yeah.
But I think that when it comes to life in a theme park land, what's going to be interesting for that is there's already been some really impressive theme park attractions built for that elsewhere.
Yes.
So to see what the Epic Universe take on it, because there's that kind of Mac dark ride / suspended coaster version of it.
Is that in Abu Dhabi?
The Middle East.
Yeah.
I can never remember which ones are in Abu Dhabi and which ones are in Dubai.
Yeah, because it's the same. It was. It's the same ride system as Arthur and the Invisibles at Europa Park, isn't it? Yeah.
At Europa. Yes. And so, I know that ours, what we get in the Epic Universe is not, I don't think it's going to be that ride system.
Okay.
But so it's going to be interesting to see how they do use that. I know there's a stage show in Beijing.
Yes, and it looks amazing.
And we're also scheduled to have a theater, so hopefully, it will take that and be as good or even better.
Yeah, that looks stunning. It's just, I think what it comes down, like, yes, we kind of, you have an idea of what theme park attractions are going to be and what rides are going to be. It's the park overall, I think, that's the most interesting thing. So, no, again, talking about Alicia, she's kind of found permits for like facial recognition. So we're talking about turnstile-less entry, and that's fascinating. How does a theme park work when you haven't got physical turnstiles? I know, and I'm going to name drop now. Tracy and I bumped into Mike Aiello when we were over for the weekend in 2019, and we were talking to him briefly about it. And he said, if everything we put into that park comes together, it is going to be unlike any theme park you have ever seen. And you're like, what does that mean in terms of a theme park? Every theme park is built pretty much the same. They all follow a very similar pattern of you get in and how they spread out. To then try and come up with something different, to try and get your head round a theme park that's different from every other theme park is like, how can it be different?
Well, Universal has a lot of patents that you can find online and a lot of things that they have been quietly testing with for years. For example, facial recognition. They've been testing facial recognition in the Universal Express queues.
Yes.
For years, and usually people don't pay any attention to it other than the fact that it slightly slows down the line.
Yeah.
But all of that is, training their artificial intelligence. It's all gathering data.
Okay.
And, if you can envision a theme park that is aware of you, that is where there are CCTV cameras everywhere. I know living in England, you're already used to cameras being pretty much in all public spaces. Yes. But one that is, that where your face is tied to your admission, and you're no longer putting your finger on a pad to verify your biometrics, but the system knows that it's you, and so unless someone is trying to wander through who isn't already permitted, the entry could be seamless, could be completely invisible. The security's there to snag someone who doesn't belong, but everyone who does, has a frictionless experience. I think that's really what Mike Aiello is probably talking about, is trying to leverage technology. And some of the technology is really scary, like the idea of a theme park that is aware of you and your preferences and what your face looks like and where you go and what you do at all times is kind of terrifying. But if it can really be used to create a frictionless experience where you can be intelligently guided, you can be intelligently advised. I emphasize intelligently because what Disney Genie does is very unintelligent.
Yes.
But imagine a system like that actually worked. It could be a completely different way to experience theme parks if you're not constantly coming up against barriers and places where you have to tap something to scan or pull out an admission ticket or pull out a lanyard. If it's really just the system knows who you are and where you're going and lets you get along with it.
That would be amazing.
That could be amazing. It could also be really, really frightening.
Yes, because I'm going to be controversial now. It should keep all the anti-vaxxers out, because if they're not going to get a vaccine because they think the government are tracking, they're not going into that theme park when they are being tracked and they know they're being tracked.
Well, I know all you will have to do is submit for a small capsule with a microchip to be placed under your forehead, which will have numbers and no.
I mean, what's sad is I would probably let
5G.
Universal do it.
Yes, you probably would. You're right.
Well,
be them.
Yeah, it's just interesting trying to get my head round, because obviously it's going to change how you vacation at Universal Orlando, because we've said it before. When you go to Universal Orlando, everything is so easy to get to. If you're staying on site, the theme parks, the restaurant, City Walk, everything is within a walking distance, and you can stay in that little bubble. So then,
especially when we, the Hard Rock is close enough to Universal Studios Florida, but that's nothing compared to how this new hotel is basically going to be integrated into the backside of this theme park. Right up against the attractions almost.
Yeah,
and so I think they're going to be doing everything they can to make the experience of going from the hotel to the theme park and back again as seamless as possible. And, anything to reduce friction, encourage people to stay there on property and to encourage them not to leave property. It's funny. It's almost like the opposite of what Disney's doing. Disney had Magic Express for years. That was like, they're paying for this transportation just so they can keep you on property. And now they've decided it's not worth their money to keep subsidizing that. Whereas, Universal, they don't have that yet, but they're looking at building a destination that's increasingly integrated in terms of transportation and hotel. to give people more and more reasons not to leave.
Yeah, but that's that weird thing though, because you're gonna have Epic Universe down the road, and then Universal Orlando up there, and you're having to make
but you've
a choice
got a dedicated
at that point.
road that's gonna have bus lanes that pretty much dedicated to Universal. It'll shoot straight up. It's
Right.
going to be faster than taking the monorail.
Okay.
It's going to be way faster than taking any Disney bus. Yeah, I think people are going to be surprised. It would be great if they built a monorail or a sky car or something. But in practice, having basically a straight shot with dedicated bus lanes is going to be more efficient than almost anything on Disney property.
Yeah, it's just going to be strange because especially people who've been going to Universal Orlando for so long that are used to just staying on that one property and then throwing this other thing and like, oh, I don't know what to do now. Like, it's easy if you want to have a morning in Islands of Adventure, jump on the Hogwarts Express and go across to Universal Studios Florida, but then to throw in this other theme park, like I know if you've been going to Disney, you're used to that because they're all a trek between the two. The mindset of someone who's been going to Universal Orlando for so long is going to have to change just ever so slightly to factor in that there's now this fourth park, and I will say fourth park down the road. It's just going to be, it's so strange when you're used to having everything in this little bubble and then have this brand new thing that you're going to want to go to.
I think we're going to see, as a travel agent, I think we'll see an uptick in split stays, to be honest with you. I think that we'll have people that want to experience that upcharged, because those hotels on property at Epic Universe are going to be pricey. So I think we're going to have people that want to experience that, but maybe not for the whole week.
Okay.
So they'll stay there for a couple of days, do Epic Universe, and then switch over to the original properties and focus there. That's my prediction, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is all about getting extra nights. This is all about capturing guests for another 1 or 2 hotel nights, and eating into Disney. Making it so if you're doing a split stay between Disney and Universal, now Universal is the majority of your stay.
Yes,
and Disney is the thing that you only go to. It used to be that every Disney vacation had to be at least 4 days because everyone was going to spend at least 1 day in each park, and a lot of people would spend 2 days at the Magic Kingdom or at Epcot. And now I think at the slow pace that Disney adds new attractions, a lot of people decide that they can, they don't need to go back to the Magic Kingdom because nothing new has been added to the Magic Kingdom in 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they've done Star Wars once, they honestly don't want to go back to Hollywood Studios for a while because that was kind of a traumatic experience. Animal Kingdom seems to be, of all of the theme parks, retaining its popularity along with Epcot.
It's always a good time, Animal Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree,
because
but okay.
Still a surprising number of people who have not seen Avatar for the first time.
Yes, we haven't.
And people who have done that, they talk about it as like the one thing at Walt Disney World that seems fresh and new and modern. Okay. And Epcot with its festivals is just kind of consistently popular.
Yep.
But I think there are a lot more people who will say, well, I'm going to do 3 or 4 days at Universal and then only do 2 days at Disney, whereas before it would have been the other way around.
Yeah.
I'm actually seeing that already. I have a lot of people who were like Disney fanatics. All of a sudden they tried Universal and then they're like, you know what, this trip, I think we're just going to go and do like a day at Hollywood Studios to see Star Wars, but the rest of the time we're going to do Universal. It's changing.
It's just so less stressful at Universal. I think with Genie, like Tracy and I have talked about, we went to Epcot when we came over in 2020. I still keep confusing. It was 2 years ago, wasn't it? We did Epcot, and then we're toying with the idea. Funny enough, after you've just said that, Seth, we're talking about going over to Hollywood Studios when we come over in September this year, just because we haven't done Toy
At least you
Story.
won't have to deal with virtual line for Rise of the Resistance.
We haven't done Star Wars. We haven't done Galaxy's Edge. We haven't seen Toy Story Land. We haven't done Mickey and Minnie. So it's probably the one park that for our family sort of ticks a few boxes.
Bite the bullet and be prepared to spend a lot of money on Lightning Lane.
Ugh, okay. But it's just going to Disney always was stressful because you had to plan everything out. Now it's just it feels like it's gone even more unless you want to chuck money at it. Whereas Michelle, you and I have talked about before, and Chris as well, where if you go to Universal, if you want to step above everyone, you buy Express or you stay at a hotel for a night and then you get that free Express and off you go. You just do the day as you want to do that day. There's no hassle of booking anything or whatever. There might be the odd virtual line maybe, but for the most part, you can ride everything you want fairly quickly. I mean, let's look at Velocicoaster, for example. Opened last year and still at its peak wasn't really hitting anything more than about a 75-minute wait, which is phenomenal for a new attraction.
Yeah. I still believe that the included express passes at the hotels, depending on what kind of discounts you get and what the season is still one of the best bargains in the theme park industry.
It is.
Because it genuinely is an express pass. It's not a get in another line that's slightly shorter, but still kind of long.
Yeah.
It's not a right to book your fast passes a little bit earlier than the rest of the people.
And obviously, whenever Epic Universe's hotels open, there's going to have to be a restructuring of where Express Pass is valid.
Yeah.
If the new theme park has Express, or if there's some completely new way of doing it. But I suspect that you're going to have to stay in the hotel that's on site at Epic Universe in order to get privileges at Epic Universe, at least at first.
Yeah.
That would be my guess too. And the other hotels stay as they are, but to get passes at Epic, that would be where you have to stay.
Yeah. See, I'm surprised with Tapu Tapu at Volcano Bay that Universal, because we said when that first opened that was Universal dipping their toes into Magic Bands and kind of expected that was the test bed. And then eventually we would see that roll out into the parks. And obviously that's never happened. Whether that comes to Epic Universe, who knows? But it doesn't seem like you don't hear a lot of people talking about Magic Bands anymore.
I mean, Disney is introducing these new Magic Bands that have haptics and lights and, are more interactive that are coming out. But Magic Bands were kind of a transitional product introduced at a time before smartphones were ubiquitous and NFC tags, digital NFC tags that you could transfer to a phone were easy to do.
Yeah.
I think that as annoying as it is for people who come from overseas and have to swap out a SIM card or look for a Wi-Fi, I think that smartphones are probably going to be the dominant way to go for that kind of technology. And in theory, if you can combine a smartphone and Wi-Fi with a facial recognition system, you shouldn't need to tap anything. You shouldn't need to wear anything because they should just know who you are and where you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, which obviously, I don't want to bring it up again, but with a pandemic, it's one less contact point. I mean, I wonder how much the last 2 years has and will impact what they do at Epic Universe. I can't imagine that it won't have some sort of
I was
impact
very
on it.
happy for that short period of time at Universal where I did not have to stick my finger on the little scanner. Not only for hygiene reasons, but just for efficiency reasons.
Yeah, I'd give up all my rights just to not have to do that.
Think how much smoother it's going to be. Chris, you heard it first. That's interesting. All your rights, Chris.
Everything. And I'm not even like a big brother.
You have the right to remain silent. You can keep that right.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting if Epic Universe is designed much like Volcano Bay was for a queue list experience. I know a lot of people advocate the idea of let's get rid of all standby queues altogether. Let's make everything a virtual line. In order for that to happen, they'd have to have a lot more elbow room to just walk around and a lot more things that you can do when you're not actually in an attraction. They have to have a lot more walk through or walk around kind of experiences or small live shows in order to keep people occupied for all the time that they would have been waiting in a queue. I haven't seen anything from the plans that imply that they're going to that extent. But I don't know, that for me, that would be the next evolution of a theme park that was truly designed to not have to wait in any lines.
I don't see, because it's such an inherent thing in theme parks. Where I mean, you look at like virtual lines. Look at Hagrid's, for example. I've seen so many people complaining on pass holder pages or just Facebook groups that when it was virtual line only, that they just couldn't get a virtual line for it. And when you've got an attraction that people want to ride, Rise of the Resistance is prime example. That if you can't get on it, and that might be your one trip to Disney World or your one trip to Universal, and you don't get on Hagrid's, or you can't get on Rise of the Resistance, could be, I know it's not make or break, but it could be you could have a kid with you who's the biggest Star Wars fan, and you physically can't get them on Rise of the Resistance. That could be like that poor kid, like, is just his worst dream that he's not going to get on the one ride he wants to get on.
If his parents really loved him, they would have paid for Lightning Lane.
All right, before there was Lightning Lane, then
no, I know exactly what you're. In order for a truly queueless theme park to work, it would have to be designed for capacity, so that every single person that you're selling a ticket to, and you would have to be selling tickets not just for specific days, but for specific arrival times. You would basically have to curate every person's experience almost like it was a VIP tour, and be able to manage it so that every person gets to experience everything in a manner that doesn't conflict with anyone else. It would. The problem is that people don't follow instructions.
No.
And so all it takes is one person to be late or one person to deviate from a plan. And that all starts to go to heck.
Oh, not even that. Just theme park attractions, the newer attractions start pushing the boundaries of technology, and it's not reliable. So if a ride goes down, then that throws everything out, and it's just there's so many variables in there that it would be so difficult. But then you look at something like Velocicoaster. And I know it's just a roller coaster and it should run all the time, but hasn't that just hit like 1 million riders in something like 6 months, which is crazy?
Yeah, they've done remarkably well in terms of efficiency and reliability. Like anything, it goes down, it has brief downtime, but they've really, I've been really impressed by the operating team members there. They've hustled every time I've been there. They are always hustling.
Like, when Hagrid's opened, everyone was complaining because it was down all the time and it wasn't working, and they closed it because of this, that, and the other. And Velocicoaster hasn't had that at all. No,
they and a lot of that was proper testing. Hagrid's never got a extended soft opening. It never even really got proper employee. It got its minimum number of cycles, obviously, to be certified and safe, but it didn't have that time where the operations crew gets used to putting bodies on and off the ride over and over again. They didn't get time to work out, especially with a ride that has so many trains on the track at once, and you kind of have to learn to work it as a team in order to keep that up without it cascading to a halt. So in one respect, Velocicoaster is a little simpler because there's a lot fewer trains on the track. That helps, but it's also they were just given the time. They had weeks and weeks of soft openings to where, if it's just soft opening and it shuts down, no one can complain. It's a technical rehearsal. You knew what you were getting into, so that by the time it got to opening day, they were able to have a successful opening day. They were able to get those photos of big crowds, but they didn't have people waiting 10 hours all day long in order to get on.
How many was it again, Michelle?
8 my first day and 7 the second day.
On Hagrid's.
For Hagrid's?
Yeah.
I was 7.5 hours if you count the fact that I got there like 3.5 hours before the park opened.
It's a half hour short of a popcorn bucket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And people thought I was crazy.
I didn't get a figment at the end of it either.
No.
Good Lord. Craziness.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see that part come together and see what it is, because we just don't know what to expect, and it's cool. I can't wait. It gives us another some content for another 3 years or so.
Oh, at least.
So I have to keep going. I have to keep going to at least 2025.
All right.
Cool.
So you're saying you're retiring when the new park opens?
Maybe.
That'll be your final.
There'll be no more news at that point.
We'll do a weekender in 2025, and that'll be the end of it.
All right.
Because that'll see as well.
You heard it here first, folks.
Cool. Seth, it's been brilliant to have you on, as always.
Oh, my pleasure. And we've got even more coming up, maybe not 22, but maybe 23. We didn't even really get into the expansion to Diagon Alley,
Yes.
The possible virtual reality broom ride.
Like, yeah.
And, who knows? We've got Poseidon's Fury coming back to life in Islands of Adventure.
Which I'm genuinely
maybe
surprised
some other
at.
little things going to happen around there.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised Poseidon's Fury is getting refund. I honestly thought when it was closed for as long as it was that was going to be the end of it, to be honest.
I had a nice chat with Professor Baxter himself. He was hanging out in front of the... they've been listening to the dirt. They can't tell us the exact date where the temple will allow itself to be reopened. But I'm hearing maybe 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
So I know originally I had really hoped that they would get it up by Christmas season. But it was nice that, they had all of these people from the Global Expedition group, just sitting around, so that they've now put them outside of the attraction to interact with guests who are mostly very confused because they have no idea who they are.
They never even ridden the ride, let alone seen those people.
Clue.
That's a hefty refurb then, if it's going to be another 3 or 4 months.
What I can tell you is, so I don't think that the story is changing in any significant way, but every piece of lighting, of water equipment, of projection has either been replaced or upgraded, or at least cleaned and repaired. That anytime that you have a show that uses both large moving mechanical things, gas, fire, and then lots of water, stuff rots, stuff mildews, stuff decays. And so I think this is actually a sign that they think this attraction is going to operate for quite a while in the future, because from what I understand, everything is, it's not just a cheap slap on a coat of paint,
right.
That it's like getting it back to working the way it should.
Very interesting. When you consider there's not an awful lot else in that land, it seems a strange thing to throw money at, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, you would think there's been so many absolute confirmed people certain that it was all going to get torn down and turned into Legends of Zelda. I watched the videos on YouTube myself, very confident. But no, I mean, I know people who work closely with Professor Baxter, and it's going to be Poseidon's Fury, at least for the foreseeable future.
Cool. Good. Right.
Don't ask me about Sinbad, though.
I won't.
Sinbad is serving as a Hagrid waiting room right now, and I don't think it's going to do anything else for a while, which is a shame.
Well, of course, if you are heading out to Universal Orlando this year, you will need the complete guide to it. So, Seth, where can people get that?
The 2022 edition to the unofficial guide to Universal Orlando is available for purchase at theunofficialguides.com, or you could pick it up from Amazon or your local bookstore. And if you want more information, you can check out the unofficial guides on Twitter at the UG Series, or we're also on Facebook and Instagram at the unofficial guides.
Awesome. Cool. So go and grab a book, because it is awesome. It is the exhaustive guide to Universal Orlando. That is for sure.
Exhaustive and exhaustive. Don't read it all at once. You will fall asleep, I guarantee.
Cool. Right. That's going to wrap up this episode. We will wrap up, as we always do, with another Universal Is. And this one comes from, you might know this person, Chris, Alexa Lorero.
Rings a bell.
But of course, if you'd like to get involved, all you've got to do is let us know what you think Universal is in 3 words or less and send them to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com or however you want to get them to us, because there's many, many ways. But for now, Alexa says Universal is mine. Oh, that's nice of her.
Don't even share it with me.
See you next week, everyone.
Guess that wraps things up for another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. You guys did all right. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Listen and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere podcasts are found. You can find our blog at uuopodcast.com. Send us your spews, which Lou gets your poo recordings, questions, or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, and our awesome sponsors, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company. So, until next time, don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.